It's a pretty bad echo when I talk. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, Jeremy says he has that sometimes as well. Not sure if it's a microphone problem. Jeremy says he has that sometimes as well. Not sure if it's off. There we go. So we are live on YouTube. Are you still hearing an echo?
When I talk, yes. I think I'll be okay.
Let's see. I can turn you down a little bit and see if that does anything.
Test one, test. It's a little bit better.
Yeah, you sound
delayed.
Yeah, I think you sound fine on my end. So, all right, we'll get going if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, hold on a second. Let's do something real quick. How about record it?
Recording progress.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Western Oklahoma Sports Night. I am Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, here with you on a Wednesday as we are wrapped up with school sports for both SWOSU, Clinton, Weatherford, Sayre, Thomas, Hydro Eakley, Watonga. A lot of sports have concluded so far. Graduation is around the corner, and I want to welcome our most recent graduate, one Mr. Luke Clement. The pride of Minko High School, now a graduate of SWOSU, Southwestern Oklahoma State University. So, man, Luke, thanks for joining me today, and congratulations on your quick graduation.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming. It could have come quicker.
Yeah, you've been working full time there at Right Media, which is your full time gig as the sports director there for Right Media in Weatherford and covering all of Western Oklahoma. So you've had a busy slate, and as a young man, I say knock that stuff out early while you got the energy and lack of commitments, because when you get my age, it really kicks your butt.
No, it has definitely been a busy year with work and school and trying to get it all under wraps and stuff, but glad to finally have school over and now sports are over with. So I'm going to have so much time on my hands. I don't know what I'm going to do with it for the next couple months.
Yeah, don't be out getting in trouble. I know how you young guys are. So
that's the main priority.
So no, but congratulations on your graduation from Southwestern Oklahoma State University. I think you had just finished your freshman year when I first met you. You came in and you were going to be the weekend news and sports guy on Saturdays for Right Media, and then some changes made, and then you became the voice of Hydro Eakley Bobcat Sports, and then a year ago you took the full-time sports director job. What's it been like, covering that much sports on a daily basis?
I've loved it. It's exactly what I wanted to do when I came up here to go to school, and to get to do that while in school has just been a huge blessing. To know that I don't have to go into the workforce unsure of what I want to do. I'm glad to know that this is something that I can find joy in.
Yeah. And, speaking from an older guy's perspective and watching younger dudes get started in this industry, I don't have a lot of experience myself. I started late after another career, but when we did radio in Texas on KSEY, as you see the sign back there, there was a young man who got into television sports and went to work for the Fox NBC affiliate in Wichita Falls. He was from Quinnipiac. He was from Massachusetts, and he had moved from
around here,
Massachusetts, to Wichita Falls. And I just remember thinking, you talk about setting off for uncharted waters. That was a lot.
Culture shock.
It would be. And just, being by yourself down there. And luckily here in this area, people are pretty friendly. But, you've got the luxury of getting started at a great place to work and taking over and doing sports there. And I know everybody's real happy with you there and how you've handled doing the daily sports reports and covering all kinds of other sports as well. And you've probably got to experience in your, I think now, what, 2 years, 3 years being associated with Right Media Sports, some
2 years.
travel trips. You've
Yeah.
got to visit the Panhandle. You've got
I've visited the Panhandle, southeastern Oklahoma. I've been down there, Arkansas. I've made some
yeah,
trips. You made a trip
yeah.
last night.
Yeah, made a trip to Tulsa last night. And for anybody just joining us or going to tune in, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel at Lawdog Sports. This is our facet of Western Oklahoma sports. It's called Western Oklahoma Sports Night. And I love getting Luke Clement on here from Right Media Sports. But yeah, me and Chado from Caddo and Sylvia Pinedo made the trip with Weatherford Soccer up to Tulsa Holland Hall last night. And just a heartbreaker to come back with the 2-1 loss in the state semifinals. And the girls made the finals last year. I know that their goal was to get back in the championship game and finish the job this season, but just unable to get past a really tough Holland Hall midfield and back line, and really a keeper who made some outstanding saves. Just kind of played out of her mind. But it came up short, 2-1. Had some chances to equalize, maybe send it to extra time. Just unfortunate on that. But an amazing season by the Weatherford Lady Eagles, Coach Charlie Lopez. A lot of seniors on that team contributed, but also a lot of players and big time standouts coming back next season. So I don't see Weatherford Lady Eagles soccer falling off that much. They'll have some scorers to replace, but they've got some great talented underclassmen.
I know it was a lot of fun when I would come in and cut up audio or make my stories and stuff. I really enjoyed getting to watch what Weatherford and Clinton soccer that I did this year. Um, Coming from a town that did not have soccer, I still to this day have not watched a soccer game, been to a full soccer game. So I've definitely learned a lot this spring.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things about being the sports director at Right Media. Soccer is pretty ingrained in Western Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's a great thing that is the case, but it's also a situation where I was fortunate because I kind of came on to the sport of soccer in college with friends of mine at Oklahoma City University who played there, and then have followed it throughout my adult life. Didn't play it past third or fourth grade in school, but it was once I became an adult and knew people that enjoyed it, I've come to enjoy it. And the thing about doing play by play is soccer is a difficult play by play because it's a real lull of action until it's not, and then you have to react. And so I know it's funny. Last week, Chad Gray was doing play-by-play for Clinton boys on the road at Hilldale, which I'll go on record saying that the Red Tornadoes got ripped off up there.
You'll have to tell me about that.
Yeah, they issued a penalty on a play that I could not see from the vantage point of the camera that it was a penalty, and it just seemed like a bang bang play with the keeper trying to, the keeper possibly getting fouled. But regardless, so I had a different producer, and I won't name names, but he was kind of lulled into the lack of activity, and then all of a sudden we score. Weatherford Lady Eagles score a set piece goal, and I got excited, and I think it startled him. But anyways, but yeah, it was a heartbreaking loss last night. The Weatherford Lady Eagles finished 16-2 on the season, and will be state semifinalist, at least state semifinalist for the third straight season. And seniors Brayley Epp, Emma Rattery, Allison Galindo, Lexi Johnson, the goalkeeper, and then also Taylor Pear and Andy McCoy. I don't have my roster with me. I'll have to look and make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Pretty solid bunch. What, 3 of them going to play college soccer?
Yeah, Emma Rattery going to Bushnell College in Eugene, Oregon, which I didn't know Eugene had a second college.
Is that where the University of Oregon is?
It is. The Ducks
okay.
are there, and then Bushnell. I don't know. Is that where they make the scopes and the and the binoculars? Because let's see. Let me double check and make sure. Taylor Pear, Emma Rattery, Andy McCoy, Allison Galindo, Brayley Epp, and Lexi Johnson. Yeah, that's the seniors for for Weatherford, and they're an amazing senior class. Brayley Epp making the commitment to Brayley Epp and Lexi Johnson making the commitment to Coach Mark Pearson at SWASU. And then also, I believe Andy McCoy, who's just a really dynamic midfielder and plays with a lot of energy and pace. I think she may be looking to walk on there at SWASU. So
Awesome.
some additions coming to the Lady Bulldogs soccer team that'll be fun to watch. And just an amazing season. Weatherford boys didn't make the playoffs, but then Clinton boys and girls were both in the playoffs. And like I said, Clinton boys made the quarterfinals. And the Lady Reds were they both in action last week?
Clinton girls lost in the second round.
Okay.
Or did they lose? They lost to Chickasha. That might have been their first
I
game.
think that might have been. Once again, I left my paperwork from last night in the truck. But
That might have been the first round game. And then Clinton boys were second round.
Yeah. So Weatherford girls making it to the semifinals. And then Elk City also with a program. Did Cordell have?
Cordell girls made playoffs.
The playoffs.
They got beat pretty good by Community Crossings Christian in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, I mean, since you mentioned that, I'll just bring up the albatross in the room, Luke. But private schools with Heritage Hall, Holland Hall, Cassia Hall, anything Crossings or CCS or anything.
CHA, OCA.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have a leg up in the sports. And, even in basketball, Weatherford boys had to beat Crossings Christian for a state title. And I don't know, OSSAA, I know we're not supposed to question them, but Holland Hall won Class 5A. They're going to be gunning for their fourth straight state championship. Two last year in 5A, the 2 years prior to that in 4A, and this year they're back in 4A. So,
in soccer, girls soccer?
Girls soccer. And Oologah, who won the 4A state title last season, dropped to 3A. So I don't.
Strange.
And, if it's so odd, Luke, because in football, you've got, let's just take Kingfisher, for example. They're 4A in everything but football.
Yep.
And they play in 3A and I'm not, I mean, I don't have an opinion either way about it, but it's just so odd that you would be 4A in every, well, I take that back. They're 3A in soccer too. So baseball, basketball, and I'm not sure about volleyball. That's just a school.
Yeah.
That's just a school as an example that is just all over the place as far as their classifications.
Well, then you can take it down to even a smaller level. Minko, where I went to school, we're Class A in football, 2A in baseball and basketball, and 3A in softball. So we're all over the place.
Yeah, and with football, I don't know. I'm kind of contradicting myself. I could kind of understand a town like Minko being A in football, but it doesn't make a lot of sense that they wouldn't just be A in everything else.
Right.
I mean, because
if you think about the other schools that are in the class that you're competing with, you'd be competing with Hydro Weekly, Arapahoe Butler, Cheyenne, Thomas. Thomas is in the same class as Minko, but a lot of those schools, Minko is definitely bigger than.
Yeah, and then like Thomas, I think on the ADM they would classify as being in the 8-man ranks, but they stick with 11-man. And then, you probably see it with your upbringing and your high school experience, but the schools that don't have football, that just play fall baseball, I mean, they come into the spring season with a leg up in baseball as opposed to the teams that have a football squad.
I don't know the exact number of years, but I know it's been a good number, 10 plus, since a football playing school has won a baseball state championship in the spring.
Yeah, in the lower classes.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I understand, and that's a tough one about as we transition to baseball, is like Canute, they've got a great baseball program.
Yep.
And then, Shattuck, who lost to them in the finals, they had a great season, but they also have an 8-man football team. So that fall ball, I think, does make a bit of a difference for some of these players. But, man, you talk about, and 4A, which is pertinent to us, is this weekend. Hopefully they'll be able to get it in at the in Oklahoma City area with with the weather the way it's supposed to be. Elk City in their 4th consecutive state tournament.
Taking on district opponent Bethany. They split their regular season games. Both of them were one run. Elk City won the first one 3-2. Bethany won the second one in extra innings 1-0. So
Yeah.
some pretty competitive baseball there.
Yeah, this Elk City team, and it's such an amazing accomplishment by Jay McClure to get a team to the state tournament, because they lost Cash Mayfield last year. He graduated, was a 1st-round draft pick, just an amazing pitcher, also a great batter as well in high school. But I think that Bethany loss was their first district loss in 4 seasons.
Really?
I want to say that I did Weatherford baseball last season, they were I know they were on a 2-season streak without losing a district game.
That's incredible.
And it's not like Weatherford and Clinton were slouches those seasons either.
No,
it's just Coach McClure had really elevated the play there at Elk City, and and then when you have a 1st-round draft pick in the rotation, it's definitely going to help. But this year, they did drop that one district game, but Weatherford had a chance a couple of times to get one past them, and they came back and were able to take the victory. But they just seemed to reload instead of rebuild there in Elk City.
I was lucky enough to call Elk City once, maybe twice in the I-40 Festival, and just a well-rounded team, batters 1 through 9. They all know how to put bat on ball. And I think one of their biggest things is a lot of them aren't swinging for the fences. They know that they're need to put ball in play, situational hitting, stuff like that. It's really taken them far. And their pitching, they got a great rotation. Bryce Mouse, he is going to Tyler Junior College, another pitcher that they got that's going to the next level.
Yeah, and they've got kids that, Northern Oklahoma College is another school that picks up a lot of these Western Oklahoma kids. I know Western Junior College down in Altus as well, but and then Redlands too. Redlands is picking up some Western Oklahoma kids as well. But yeah, Coach McClure there in Elk City really doing a great job. He's had Taylor Varnell, I believe, as his pitching coach for 2 seasons now. And Varnell was actually, I think, in the league, and then also coached Canute for the season before he went to Elk City. So, I mean, a lot of good coaching there on that staff. But they've got a tough task coming up, and it's funny to me, the seedings, when I saw the matchups for the Class 4A state tournament this week. Newcastle is a really tough team, and then Tuttle's the defending champion. Blanchard has won a title in the last 2 years. I mean,
who's on the other side of the bracket with Elk City?
Do what now?
Who's on the other side of the bracket with Elk City?
It's funny you asked that. Why don't I effort that? And I could probably sound a little more informed. But and 4A, I'm telling you, Luke. It's a
tough class.
It is actually. Did Tuttle win it last year, or did Marlowe?
Tuttle. I think Marlowe's 3A in baseball.
Okay. So Blanchard's got North Rock Creek. Bethany's got Elk City. Chickasha's been a really upswinging program. Then the only team from the East is Salisaw, and they are taking on Newcastle, which I think Newcastle has an OSU commit in their rotation. And I know it was hard for Weatherford to manufacture a lot of offense against the Racers in the. Is it a super regional or is it an area?
OSSAA calls it area. They call it area assignments, but it's funny if you look on any of 4A team schedule, it says super regionals. It's really funny.
Well, if anyone listening wants to keep up with the baseball this weekend, a great resource for that is online at Sooner State Baseball Report, and we share their content on Lawdog Sports Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, predominantly Twitter, but Newt Huntley does a great job over there with that. But, talking about baseball, Luke, last weekend, man, a big one between Calumet and Fort Cobb Broxton.
Yeah.
Did you get to call a Calumet game in the I-40 Classic?
I did, yes. Okay. I think it might have been Calumet Elk City, now that you say it.
Okay. They were really good. And Fort Cobb Broxton just I don't know, man. They're
They
Willits and those guys down there.
something in the water. Something in the water. They've been doing it for a long
I've
time
seen
now.
that lake water. That scares me a little bit.
No doubt.
Yeah, no, just an amazing run. So many consecutive state championships for the ponies and the Mustangs, and just and 2 seasons ago, I think they pulled off the trifecta.
Yes, it would have been.
Boys fall
It'd have been.
ball, basketball, and
Okay.
spring ball.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, I think it would have been when Craig Rogers was there, the SWASU
He
kid.
was Craig
Yeah.
Rogers, the SWASU guard, and has come into Division II and really showed out. But yeah, I know Craig Rogers was there. He might have been a junior that year. Trying to think, because I know I did some interviews down there. But the trifecta in Class B sports, that's
Very tough.
pulling a big one. I mean, that's a lot of talent you've got in your squad.
And when you look at Class B, I mean, it's incredibly competitive. The same teams over and over. There's just multiple powerhouses in every sport. And to go on a run, 6 straight state championships, 3 years, just owning everybody, it's very impressive.
Pretty amazing. And Calumet has really been right there too. I mean, Calumet did get a basketball title, so they did get that. And but it's just been such a massive battle between those two squads and such close proximity between the two. That's been a lot of fun. And it's funny, Luke, because you've probably come to realize this as sports director at Wright Media. Being in Weatherford, you try to cast a wide net of sports coverage, and because there is a station on the Wright Media Network in Sayre or in Elk City, you basically stretch all the way to the state line, the Eric and Sweetwater and that area. Then really going back east, I used to try to include some Geary scores, obviously Calumet, because they participate in so much.
Hinton.
Between the I-40, Hinton. I mean, Coach Grant Potter at Hinton is a great guy to visit with.
He is.
And they're a great program. And then, even stretching out to Watonga. So it's you get
they
done
got a
with
new football coach. Did you see that?
I did. And you've got a little leg in on Watonga football. Did Matt Walter take another job, or was he let go?
Not sure. I did a little Facebook digging yesterday and couldn't really see anything on any Facebook profiles or anything like that. But so not really sure what happened there. But Greg Johnson, former Watonga Eagle, won state championships there in the 70s, was a very, very successful coach at Langston at the NAIA level. So I would love to see the Eagles turn it around there, especially if I'm going to be in the booth following them around.
Well, yeah, and that'll be your football assignment upcoming, I guess. I mean, I guess that would be the plan for Watonga, and then with some also you're the voice of Hydro Eagley too, and I know they've come to love you there in Hydrotown. But that coach, what was the name again? I'm sorry, I saw it.
Greg Johnson.
Trey Johnson.
Greg Johnson.
Okay. I'm just going to say this. They threw out the dates of when he was at Watonga, and I'm looking at the pictures of this guy on Facebook.
Looks pretty good for his age, don't he?
I'm telling you, he's got to be at least 8 to 10 years older than me. I'm like, he looks 8 to 10 years younger than me. What the hell?
That's what I was thinking. Me and you are on the same page there.
Oh, you thought how much younger he looked than me? No, yeah, and that was pretty amazing. I visited with Coach Walter a bit last year before the season. We did our football previews, and I know he was coming in from East Central as their offensive coordinator. He had been the coach at Northwestern. He was super tight. Had teammates with athletic director or superintendent Tyler Hildebrand. But one season they got one win. They mentioned they got one win last year.
Broke the losing streak last game of the year.
I'd totally forgotten they got a win. I thought they had gone winless again, but I guess they got a win late against Merritt.
Yep. Pouring rain game. I'm pretty sure Merritt was 0-9 as well in that last game. So
was that at Watonga or at Merritt?
At Watonga.
Okay. If you have to go to Merritt, we'll talk off the air sometime. I'll get you prepped for some things to deal with there. But anyways, so yeah, Watonga with a new coach, Clay Conley at Hammond, the girls coach,
Yes.
recent state champion. He was from Eastern Oklahoma. I
Okay.
interviewed him when he came to Hammond, I think from Kenta, which is right there close to the Arkansas border. But he takes the job at Quinton,
Another
which,
Class B powerhouse.
Mhm. which is east of McAllister. And I get, and I kind of put a snarky comment on Twitter, but that's what I do. Uh, just kind of mentioned that he really bugged out quick after Henley West graduated.
No doubt.
And I mean, I understand he's got family there and he's got kids and they want to be close to grandma and grandpa. But, you took the job when you knew you had a 6'4" all-stater for 3 seasons. I mean, and then you bail as soon as she's gone.
You go on a great run and then
Exactly. It's not the best of optics if people are a little hurt, but I know that I did see some correspondence on social media where people from Hammond Nation were wishing him the best. But
that's good.
I mean, they won a state title with Leah Beer too, and then she was shown the door. And
she went to Leedy, right?
Yeah, she went to Leedy. I say shown the door. She left. I don't know the exact circumstances, but she left, went to Leedy. They've been a great powerhouse in girls basketball too. But Clay Conley just and that was a weird season 2 seasons ago, Luke, because that summer Greg Pratt came from Stigler to coach Weatherford girls.
Yeah.
Clay Conley came from Eastern Oklahoma. I'm pretty certain it was Kenta to coach Hammond girls. And then Coach Johnston, who I assume is still at Hammond as the boys coach, he came from Roth down there by Ada. And that was just it was a migration of Eastern coaches coming out west. And, Pratt
they're all gone
after 1 season, Conley left after 2, and we'll see if Johnston sticks it out. So I don't know.
They just can't handle that out here out west. It's a different way of life.
I'll tell you something, Luke. I mean, I grew up around Tulsa. I don't remember, weather affecting me to a big point, but when you're accustomed to it. But last night at Holland Hall, when we stepped out of the we stepped out of the press box, because we did have a little window unit in the press box. The humidity was way more intense than it is out here in Western Oklahoma. I was kind of stunned. I was like, wow, I bet our girls were probably gassed. I mean, we had some issues with some cramping, I think, but man, Luke, to step out and it's like, oh, it feels like, I think they said it felt like 82 when we rolled out of there at 9 o'clock.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
Especially at 9 o'clock. You don't want to play soccer in that.
Yeah, exactly. It was soupy, to speak of that.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. That's an old Eastern Oklahoma phrase. Visiting with Luke Clement, sports director at Right Media and Right Radio Sports, and he does his daily updates, sportscast every morning at 7:40 on KCLI 99.3 FM, and then at 7:50 on Coyote 95.5 the Coyote. You can also hear him on 101.7 the Zoo in Elk City. So Luke, you get into that phase now where it's a lot of human interest stories. It's a lot of keeping up with like Corn Ferry tours and stuff like that. I'm supposed to visit with Quade Cummins sometime this week. He's said he'd come on my show, and that's a heck of a story. A Weatherford kid with his PGA card. And
I got a question, because I'm not the biggest golf follower, trying to get more into it. The PGA Championship is this weekend or next, right?
It's this weekend, I'm pretty sure. So
what would he have to do to qualify to be able to go and compete at that?
That's a good question.
Is it kind of like a rodeo deal, like a by earnings type of thing, or
probably a rankings type thing? Just looking at Quade Cummins on the PGA website, he's currently ranked 130th in the FedEx Cup. Okay. So I don't know if they fit 130 golfers into that. Maybe, this is where some YouTube interaction would be nice from some people that know golf. Let's see. trying to find out, how they do that. And so, it just status and eligibility. I know if you win one, you're kind of in there, right?
I would imagine if you
Yeah. To qualify for the PGA Championship, golfers typically need to meet specific criteria, which could vary from year to year, but generally include being a winner of the PGA Championship in the past 5 years, winning any of the 3 other major championships, or being among the top finishers from the previous PGA Championship. Additionally, top 70 players based on PGA Championship points. So sounds to me like Quade Cummins will probably, now that he's got his PGA card, will have to get out and
compete,
have some success before he can qualify.
I got you.
I mean, that's the best. And, that was the goal of visiting with him, so that I could
learn you something.
Yeah. So anyways, but yeah, the PGA Championship, I believe that starts this weekend, if I'm correct. And, so I'll get some good Chase Lounge time this weekend, watching some golf, especially if it gets hot or stormy, either one.
Yeah. I also heard this weekend that the PGA Championship is coming back to Southern Hills in Tulsa in 2032 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I saw, I got curious because I know in 1989, Oak Tree hosted the PGA Championship in Edmond. And I thought, well, how does Southern Hills keep getting an Oak Tree doesn't? Yeah. Well, I think I looked it up, and there was a host of reasons. There was some issues. I know there was an issue back some years back where they had a hole called Hangman's Corner, and there was a noose hanging up in a tree, which offended people. And then on top of that, inclusivity of minorities and women was a touchy point there as well. But then also, I think the logistics of it, because of the layout of Oak Tree and the availability of parking space and accommodations and stuff, they just didn't. And that's where Southern Hills has excelled. I mean, they've provided a lot of space for the coverage and for the fans and things like that. So that'll be interesting to see them. That's just 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, that wasn't very long ago at all. That
2 or 3 years ago, they were in Tulsa for the PGA. So I'm sure they liked it. I'm sure people like coming to Tulsa and paying Oklahoma prices on stuff too.
100%.
So, anyways, but yeah, so the PGA going on, and I'll pay attention to the Class 4A state baseball this season. Soccer playoffs. I'll be rooting for Bethany to beat Hall and Hall in girls soccer. I didn't see on the boys' side if
I really haven't been paying attention since everybody's been out of it to the boys' side.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to get you lined up to have to go with a Clinton play-by-play next year to be able to say you called a soccer game.
Oh, I don't know.
Looks like Hilldale and Heritage Hall will be playing for the championship 1:00 on Saturday at Rogers State University. So had Weatherford won last night in girls action, and Bethany, I believe, defeated Heritage Hall, I don't think they would have made both those teams go up to Rogers State. I think they would have had it at
Taft or something.
Stadium.
So Bethany made it to state in the girls.
Is
that what you said?
Let me double check that, because that's what. Yeah, Bethany and Hall will face each other 10 a.m. Man, you make Bethany have to be at Rogers State by 10 a.m. What in the? Now they may have moved that up because of weather fears. You never know. But
yeah,
so
hopefully they leave the night before.
Yeah, both scores last night for girls semifinal action in Class 4A were 2-1. Bethany beat Heritage Hall 2-1, and Hall and Hall beat Weatherford 2-1. And then Bethany, I think, has a standout player on the soccer team who was also a standout player on the Lady Broncos basketball team, who has some deep Western Oklahoma roots, Caton Donnelly, whose dad, I never can remember dad's name, but Lance Donnelly is her uncle. He's a Weatherford All-Stater, played at OU during the 01 to 03 seasons, I believe. And then also her grandfather is Mike Tyson, a multiple state championship award. Not the boxer Mike Tyson. I saw
She
that
just
look
I
on
was
your
like,
face.
what?
Yeah. No, Mike Tyson, the Thomas Terrier girls basketball coach, won a lot of state titles back in the 80s with Kelly Litch.
Oh.
And so her, Kate and Donnelly, we'll be rooting for Kate and Donnelly and the Bethany Lady Broncos to defeat the evil empire of private school, Holland Hall Lady Touch.
I can't believe the voice of the Weatherford Eagles rooting for the Bethany Broncos.
Public school. I mean, I know Bethany does their share of recruiting. They're in the metro and their admissions, but it can't be anything compared to how Holland Hall must operate. But that's
That's
the
that.
circus we're a part of now, Luke.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. And hey, Holland Hall played a great game. Can't take that away from them. So a lot of talent on that squad. So really looking back over the 2024-2025 sports season, which I think was our intention to do here today, Luke. Your first full year, as I mentioned, as sports director, you get kicked in to that position on the tail end of last year's spring sports. And then, like I said, summertime, doing sports for Right Media. Not a lot going on. You'll have one-on-one Classic Bowl. You'll have the Western Oklahoma Baseball Coaches Association coming up, all-state games, camps, SWASU camps, all kinds of basketball camps. So it's kind of that area of time where you get more creative.
More creative. You remember where the phone is. You start calling people, getting audio. It's a lot of digging, trying to fill time.
Have you got a line into Mike Wisniewski at SWASU Rodeo to be able to keep up with all the SWASU participants in the college rodeo finals and stuff?
I do. Him and John Chedister, the SID, both of them are very, very helpful. Wisniewski always gives a great interview, always helpful. But hopefully that'd be awesome if SWASU could go down there and make some noise in the
They
National
generally
Finals
do.
Rodeo.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've made some runs. I know Emily Beisel is a SWASU graduate, and she's always doing things. And then there was a kid from Arapahoe that I think
You told me his name the other day.
Wasey Shala.
Yep.
And he's really had a run in rodeo. And then really, I think there's some Elk City kids that are big in some rodeo things, and some of that's NFR or
PRCA.
Yeah, but PRCA. But the College National Finals Rodeo will be upcoming, so I'm sure you'll be staying on top of that. And then also, I mean, you do throw in some collegiate sports on your sportscast, OU, OSU, SWASU. God only knows the portal additions or the transfers that can go down here pretty quick. But I'll say this. I think we're coming up on former Thomas Terrier great Aiden Kelly's senior season. I want to see that kid get some snaps in Stillwater this season. I want to see him. I know he can get out there and make an impact. He's just kind of been waiting his turn.
I don't know if I'm kind of confident I saw him get honored at senior day last year. I don't know if
really?
I want to say he might have graduated or he might have a fifth year or something, but of eligibility. But I'm really think his last year was last year. I could be totally wrong because he was a senior my sophomore year when I played Thomas my sophomore year in playoffs. He was a senior.
I thought he redshirted a year, but let me, as my partner Jeremy Schroeder says, let me effort that. Shows 2024 as his junior year.
Okay, maybe I'll stand corrected.
2022 freshman. He redshirted in 2021, so he does have another year of eligibility.
Okay,
according to the OSU website.
No, that would be awesome to see him get some reps on the defensive line. When we graduated a bunch of defensive linemen, sent a bunch to the draft, so definitely going to have to fill some shoes.
Yeah, came in, got a solo tackle in the game against Colorado, which was kind of a blowout. But I would think that he was the one. I would think that Aiden Kelly could be in line. You know, it's funny because I think it's been 3 years ago. Luke, that I interviewed him and Ethan Downs.
Were they the same
In
class?
They were out of the same class. Thomas and Weatherford, both I think graduated the same years, or maybe Aiden was a year after Ethan. I'd have to double check, but they both came out. They didn't come out together, but they came out to the station. I interviewed them, in the KCLI studios there, and took a picture. And it was just funny because Ethan is 6'4", 260, and just looks like a man, like a monster man standing
Yeah.
next. I'm 6'2", maybe 6'1", 6'1", 240, and
Depends on who you're
I'm
talking to, right?
yeah, and I'm not built by any means, but I mean I looked really small next to him, and then I stood next to Aiden. I'm just like, you know, he he's got that compact. What do they call it? The three down lineman or the five technique lineman. I mean,
Nose.
yeah, he's your typical nose tackle because he'll be able to get low, and he's not super tall, but he's really. I mean, I think OSU lists him at 290, maybe 300,
He's a big
and
cat.
he is a big cat, and I'll be looking forward to him. And really thinking about it, that's right now. That's our only Western Oklahoma standout playing in a D1 role that I can think of in
I think
football.
even, yeah, I
Because
think you're
Ethan
right.
was our only one at OU.
Nobody from
And
Clinton off the top of my head.
yeah, and then so yeah, Aiden Kelly at OSU, and there's some that would debate whether they're really D1 anymore or not, but
Funny story about Aiden Kelly. His senior year was the last year that Thomas made it to the state championship game,
yeah.
and they knocked us out of the playoffs second round. I played one snap that game, and it was after we scored our first touchdown on the PAT, and I had to block Aiden Kelly, and I got pancaked on a PAT, and I didn't make it back into that game.
Oh man, so there's your brush with greatness there.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I went back and because I did do one season as the voice of the Thomas Terriers football team, and they'll probably be glad to see me never come back because they only won one game that season. I think I take the blame for that around here. But no, I went back and watched the tape on that, and I mean it shows you kind of the run that Cashin was making at that time because I don't see how Cashin beat them.
They
The
had freak athletes, Cash and
the
did.
yeah, the linemen that Thomas were throwing out there was Aiden Kelly, Camden Billy, who went to UCO, who was just a mammoth of a
He
kid.
had offers from Tulsa,
Mhm.
Navy, bunch of big schools.
Yeah, and he was a big kid and a really good player. And then also Parker Payne, I think, would have been a sophomore on that team, but he was a big. They had the size on that squad, and Thomas just fell short in that. I think that was the 2020 state
Yep,
finals
yep.
or state championship Class A, and now it would be split up. So, what do you think about the split? Being an old Class A alum,
Um, yes and no. I like it just because it definitely splits up the powers. Cashin, your Ringling, Morrison, Tonkawall, stuff like that. It definitely splits those up, gives different people a little bit more of an opportunity. Um, but at the same time, I still feel like it's Class A football. A lot of schools are still playing Iron Man, both sides of the ball, run the ball down your mouth, stuff like that. So it's still Class A football.
yeah. I visited with Tyler Riggs from K101 last week, and we talked about the 101 Classic Bowl. And you think about the run that Fairview has made in Class A over the last 4 year season. I think my last year doing Friday night finals in Oklahoma City was the 2021 season, and that year Thomas had a down. Thomas fell hard that season, but Fairview, man, they came up big, and I think they won state that year. And then the
That would have
next
been
couple,
2021 would have been Cashin or Ringling. And
oh,
then
okay,
2022 was Cashin Ringling again, and Cashin uh, beat him in the rematch. That
okay,
would have been my junior senior year.
okay. So I thought, okay, so
Then I
Fairview
think my
won
first year out of high school, Fairview won their first one.
22-23.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, Fairview was coming up. I mean, they won District 1 that season that I did Friday Night Finals, and everybody was predicting Thomas that year. But then I think Jax Bernard, the quarterback from Fairview, isn't he going to Northwestern?
I don't know. I
Is
didn't
he
see
going?
anything.
I want to say Tyler Riggs said he's going to Northwestern. But I tell you, that kid in Class A football, and I watched him in some 7-on-7. I thought, man, he just really rolls out all the time. But shoot, they move the ball really well with
Yes.
him rolling out. But an
He can throw
interesting,
it.
yeah, he really is a great quarterback. And
He's one of only probably, I want to say 10, 15 Oklahoma high school quarterbacks that's thrown for over 10,000 yards in his career.
yeah, and it's just pretty well been a heck of a run for Fairview and then Hooker as well. But
Yeah.
that's going to be a fun event coming up, the K101 Bowl. I think this year, if I've got the chance, I think I'm going to make a trip up there to catch something. Maybe the basketball, maybe the football, but it's not that far for me from Thomas to Woodward. But it is a little bit of a trip. But I probably owe it to myself and people that follow Western Oklahoma Sports Night to at least get up there and watch a one-on-one classic bowl.
Those all-star, all-state games, they are a lot of fun to watch. They're very, very competitive. It's fun to see guys. A lot of those kids, those are their last chance to play a game. They're not going to lace them back up, put the pads back on. So they're giving it everything that they have. And they're a lot of fun to watch.
Definitely. All right. Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun to be listening to you as you'll probably be having to deal with Val Gal and John Matthews on the regular now with summer coming up, and you're out of school, and I kind of feel for you on that, but you've done a great job, working in with the group there, and I know they're really happy with the job you've been doing there at Right Media, and like I said, best of luck to you as the summertime comes, and of course, hey, real quick, SWOSU, are they done with golf? I thought I saw something
They
on Twitter
have
from Drew Dodgen.
Yep, Drew Dodgen, member of the women's golf team from Oklahoma. I want to say Yukon. But she is one round down at the national championship, tied for 29th. It sounds kind of rough, but she's even par through round one. She's 5 strokes down from first. That was before it got started. I haven't looked at the leaderboard since this morning. So
okay, so she's still in action for
Yep.
SWOSU. So technically, sports is not completely wrapped up in West.
36 more holes of golf, and SWOSU is done with athletics.
Well, I hope her 36 holes of golf goes a lot better than my 18 did on Saturday at Clinton. So it was pretty rough.
I got a set of clubs this weekend for my graduation present. So
Did you?
I did. So
What'd they get you?
a little bit of mix of Callaway driver, Callaway set of irons. I think most of it's Callaway.
Yeah,
So,
good deal.
yeah.
Callaway's a great brand, and now you can get out to Prairie West or Riverside and get you some golf in. Me and my son went to Riverside on Saturday, and just shows what a chauvinistic jerk I am to be out with my son playing golf on Mother's Day. But
I saw you post that on Facebook. I kind of thought, like, why are they not with Mama?
I guarantee. Well, she probably enjoyed the time away from me, so that was her gift. No, but it was just an opportunity. My son was out from the city, and it was a beautiful day, and Riverside's starting to really do a great job recovering from some of their issues they had last year with the greens. But it was some interesting putting because they've still got work to do, but I know they'll do it, and it's a beautiful course, Riverside there in Clinton, and then Prairie West. That's coming up real soon. Well, now that you got a set of clubs, you'll probably tell Heston Wright to bump me off of the Right Media squad for the Weatherford Athletic Hall of Fame coming up scramble.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm any good or anything. You probably still would supply a little bit more to the team than I would.
No,
so
I promise you that is not the case. But anyways, well, listen, he's Luke Clement. He's the sports director at Right Media. Time for you to get a Twitter handle, Luke. you're going to be doing sports full time. You got to be on the X.
Okay, I got you. I'll get it did. I'll get it did.
Anyways, follow Western Oklahoma Sports, and that is the 97.3 The Score Facebook and Twitter pages, and then also 95.5 The Coyote for all of your sports updates. And be sure and listen to Luke every weekday on 95.5 The Coyote, 7:50 a.m., and then also on KCLI News Talk 99.3 at 7:40. So hustling man is Luke Clement. Luke, thanks for joining me here on Western Oklahoma Sports Night.
Thank you for having me, Chuck. I enjoy it.
Sure thing. And be sure and follow him, and then be sure and follow us at Lawdog Sports on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Facebook. You can follow this, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel at Lawdog Sports, and then you can get links to all of that on our Facebook page, or on our webpage, lawdogsports.com. Also, the podcast pages will be condensed soon. Pretty soon, we will only be on Spotify for the actual podcast. So be sure and get over there and subscribe as well. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Awesome.